So cute. We're so cute. Just have all the fun. Have all the fun. Gotta go. Wait. Need my phone. Okay.
Like the earth, it sends me to the sky. Like the stars, it brings me back to you. And it feels like the day.
Okay. Woo! I am getting ready for my trip tomorrow. I am heading to Toronto and I'm super excited. I'm not gonna be there too long because I have things to do, but I'm gonna do some shopping so you can come along with me because I need some warm clothes. We're gonna go have some fun and perhaps maybe check this consignment store where I find lots of goodies because I am supposed to have store credits by now. So let's see. We always start with sustainability. Okay, I'm back. I found so much warm clothes, which I'm really surprised about because it's been hot. But, you know, international stores will carry whatever the season is. So there's that. I'm going to smoke cleanse them because I always cleanse my stuff. And then I need to coach. I'm late. I'm not really late, but I'm like late for me. Like I love being early and doing all the things and I just can't do that right now. We'll figure this out. I think I got it to work. Okay. So it's a bit dark looking, but I'm about to get ready to go to Canada. Let's go. You can't really see anything. What in the frizzle? Okay, so I'm gonna change. This belly needs to eat. It's 7:50, I think. I'll be in the airport to Cancun, then off to Toronto. Actually, I'll stop in JFK, then Toronto. And the adventure begins. I'm gonna pack so much maple syrup. Okay, so I was gonna bring my rolly bag, but I made a promise to myself that I wasn't gonna carry a lot of shit. I don't like carrying my own bags. I'm just gonna travel light and bring my weekender bag and maybe like wear my layers. I have my under thing on. Keep myself warm. I got my socks and scarves and warm things over there. Call it a fucking day. Like, I don't want to carry all this shit. Okay, family, I'm officially packed and consolidated to my little bag. So I've got my backpack here. It's nice and full. I can probably take this out if I wanted to and just hang it on the side. But I'm doing my running backpack. Hey, fleet feet. I'm not bringing my running shoes because I'm running on this trip. I truly don't.
When people say that they are just the type to overpack, that's code for them saying they're unwilling to take accountability for the life that they actually want to live. I'm no longer in the phase of my life where that's my truth.
Y les deseo un feliz y confortable viaje.
I also firmly believe in living a sustainable life, so I don't like to carry a lot of clothes and extra items so that I can lessen my impact on the world, and it helps me travel a lot faster. Since I'm neurodivergent, making sure I have things that help me feel regulated throughout my travel is super important, which means creating ease in any way possible is my priority, like booking trips well in advance, which doesn't always happen, especially when you're learning to walk with God or on a manifestation journey that changes at the drop of a hat.
We made it. It's a little snowy.
I had written down a manifestation that I wanted to go to the snow because every year for my birthday in December, I would snowboard, spend time in the mountains, and this year I didn't do that. Then all of a sudden, here I was.
Yay! Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, it's cute. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Oh, it's the bathroom. Oh, there's a bathtub. What? There's a freaking bathtub, and I'm so excited because lots of places in Mexico do not have bathtubs, and I'm about to like eat the rest of my sandwich and just dunk myself into the bathtub like nobody's business. How cool is this view? OMG, BZ. I need to like unpack. As a content creator, I'm severely disappointed by the fact I forgot my stand for my phone. I'm going to adventure the Ballet store, Capizio's, and Tights, because they don't have that. I mean, they have some stuff in Mexico where I live, but I live in a city that's like not as heavily populated, and so there's like one tiny Ballet store, and they have like peach colored shoes, and they don't have any of the ones that I like, and I only wear Capizio's. I'm gonna figure this out, but I'm just glad to be here. I remember once upon a time I was not able to do these things because I couldn't afford it. Business wasn't doing well, and now it's like, what? Enjoying the fruits. I should just not go back. I'm just kidding. But there is a part of me that's like, they do have maple syrup. I'm officially showered. I ate some snacks, and now I'm going to make some peppermint tea and say goodnight. It is 1 a.m. I'm pooped. I'm so pooped. So we'll see what happens. I'm super excited. It's really great.
I used to be super self-conscious about my body, but ever since I started my generational healing and helping others do the same, I've learned to love and appreciate every part of me.
Okay, so
I used to once dream about being in a skyrise, writing my book, looking out over a city, and now I'm here following my dreams, and it feels so surreal. When I was little, I used to go outside and play as a fairy while also playing as a ballerina and writing stories about anything I could dream up, and now it's my real life. When you finally let go and truly follow your heart, it's like the universe and your ancestors pick you up so quickly to follow your dreams. The world you once knew quickly begins to disappear as you follow a life that makes you ecstatically happy. Then every day slowly begins to look like a miracle or like you're living a fairy tale. God is always ready to bless your life, and it's just a matter of whether or not you're ready to receive it in its full capacity.
okay, so I just got home. I'm making some tea. I'm so full. The pho was so good. So, okay, funny story, because you know how much I love stories. I kept looking at my door number and like the floor that I was on, and oh, you can't really see me. I disappeared. Yeah, and the floor that I was on, and it literally said PH, and then had an O, and then like a number, and then I was like, yum pho, and I just kept saying that all day, like pho, 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 pho. If anybody has seen any of my older videos, sometimes spirit will show, like I'll just get visions of what's going to happen later in the day, and the universe always speaks like this. And one time I was like walking I was walking to Target a long time ago, obviously before the issue. And and although this time was pho, but the other time was pokey. But I like got a vision, and then I saw a pokey, and I in the parking lot stopped and was like, "Yum, pokey!" and got really excited that people were looking at me, and I was like, "Don't worry about it. It's between me and Spirit, little adventure." And I was like, "Oh, I wonder where there's pho." Around the corner. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good. I had so much fun. I'm freaking full. I got so much food. I can't remember the name of the place, but I will post it and share it. But it was so good. My waiter's name was Clay with a K. Very sweet, very smiley. Very like, you don't have a friend? As I'm eating by myself. I'm like, no. You know, just here enjoying my meal. And then I was like, oh, I'm traveling. And then they're like, oh, where are you traveling? And then I told them everywhere. And then they're like, oh, so fun. Traveling is good for you. And also, how many countries have you been to? And I was like, oh, a lot. They just were so happy. And when they brought the stuff over to do the to-go, they were like, do you need help? Like, I looked at the soup and then I looked at the things. I was like, just smiling. He's like, do you need help with that? It's like, yeah, I think you should do it, because I'll just go to try it and it'll go everywhere. So it's just let you handle it. And so then I did the easy rolls. I did the spring rolls and he did that part. I was like, perfect, thank you. But now I need to like take off all this winter clothes. It's been a fun freaking day. I'm super grateful for how all of this has turned out. See how cool it is? You can literally, I can see myself. Isn't that wild? I highly recommend everybody get one. I literally sat there and was getting so sleepy. Come on, man, just stay. Apparently, everybody goes to dinner with friends here. What was great was, when I got to the restaurant, there was a man who was sitting by himself, and I was like, I just said, we are on the same team, my friend. I'm gonna lie though, there was a part of me that, you know, felt kind of like, sometimes traveling by yourself is just, it's fun, but it can also get very lonely. Yeah, you know what I mean? I love this life so much, don't get me wrong, but I also feel like it would be great if I wasn't doing it alone. What I do love about this place is that it's so quiet compared to my place in Mexico. My place in Mexico, all I hear is a lot of, like, everybody rides a lot of scooters and motorcycles. In order for me to like find a good amount of peace, I have to wake up quite early. It just feels weird. It feels weird. You know, I never thought that at 36 I would be traveling around the world by myself. Even though I'm wandering with God and having fun, it's like, gee, look at this amazing kitchen. It would be great to cook someone a meal in. Like, look at this lovely couch. It would be great to talk to someone. I don't always share like the intimate parts of my life. On the Mango Men and other manifestations, like, I will share those stories, but I don't actually share like when I'm dating, like that sort of things. If I'm dating someone, everybody's meant to go on their journey in the time that they are meant to do it, because everything is a piece of the puzzle. Me sharing my love journey is also helping other people on their love journey during this phase of their life. Like the butterfly effect. It's kind of like, sometimes you sit there and you're like, A 3-part episode that I feel like people can really get behind. Just so good. It's so good. I wrote this last episode here. Like when I travel, my energy like clears up. Like I get really bright and happy, and I wrote it and I just had this clarity of like, I get it, God. I get it. I get why I travel. I get why I travel like this. I get why if someone was here it would be totally different. And so you kind of have to go through these phases of like obviously learning and growing and traveling and experiencing life. And it's become very clear on my path that of my life and the way I write is heavily curated around my life experiences, and sometimes it's real time. Like a lot of the Mango Men and other manifestations, obviously a lot of that was not real time, but sometimes the stories are not far off from what's happening. That's what's so fun about writing it. Like I can throw in an old story, I can throw in a new story, I can throw in a fake story. But it's so fun to just be in a dreamy energy and see what's possible. But in order to have that energy and to write about those experiences, you have to like go live your life. Also the reason why I started Adventures of a Single Chugilinho, because it became so clear that like there's so many people in the world who just don't take a risk on their life, even if it's something that they really want to do. And I just kept telling myself that I refuse to be someone who was just going to stay in one spot. I was sitting next to these people and they were talking and they were having this conversation, and it was just this huge contrast of like where I had once been, where I am now, and where I'm headed. It was like a very like past, present, future, and it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And so I wanted to share it with everybody in hopes that like people literally go follow their dreams. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to share it again. Like there was an older man who I was in this class with, and he was a painter, and he lives on Whidbey Island. And you know, he lived a great life. He was married to like the woman of his dreams, and then she passed away. And like the only advice that he gave us as like the eldest in the group was that like if he had known that this is how his life was gonna go, and he would still end up perfectly okay, and he would end up falling in love with the woman of his dreams and ending up on Whidbey Island as someone who channels like these really beautiful art. Like his art is like beautiful. He had said that he wouldn't have spent as much time as he did worrying, because he was like, even when things got tough, he was like, everything works out in the end. And so his only wish for himself was that he wished that he could have lived a life without worrying, like without worrying about money, without worrying what people thought, without worrying literally about all the things that we worry about as a society, and that he could just stay in that frequency of love. Because he was like, at the end of the day, like I ended up okay, and I ended up on Whidbey Island, and I'm here. And he's like, I revived a butterfly the other day, and he's like, I get to talk to all of you. And so I carry that with me everywhere I go, because it just reminds me that even it's weird, because it's like no matter how much money you have, or no matter like how many friends you have, or what's happening in your life, you're always gonna long for something else. My friend Ash was talking about this. He was like, even when you get the desire, your mind will still always desire something else. And so the trick or the key is to understand that you have a desire, but to still remain in the present moment and release the ego's need to go after what's next. Or like, even though you can go after it, but it's like, can I release a little bit more fear and desires, and
you know, we've talked about this before of how I envisioned myself painting in another country on a balcony. And so then I manifested that. And then someone asked me, well, what did you do after that? Like, what do you do once you manifest the thing that you're wanting? It literally, like, you just keep going. But it, like, I always have had a vision that's like extends far beyond just my painting on my patio. That was one aspect. But there were like other stories and milestones that I constantly visualized for over a year. And like clockwork, they began to come true, and it became so much easier. And I went through all of the struggles to get there. And I feel like sometimes it's still a struggle. But I was convinced, and I'm still convinced every day. Like, I'm like, no, what I saw comes true. And that's what I tell myself. What I saw, it always comes true. Everything I write, everything I see, everything I speak comes true. And when I started removing people who thought differently than that, which is no shade to them, but it was like, for the sake of my well-being, for the sake of my manifestations, for the sake of the impact that I want to make in this world, I remove all of you. And I now sit within my truth with the universe. And things got really fucking rocky. So rocky at first. Because it's like, you gotta rip down your entire ego to get to that dream, right? Because you have to be willing, open, and capable, open to manifestation. Your mindset has to like do a full 180. Because the person who's painting on the balcony is completely different. Or for some of you, like the speaker or the main artist or the model, completely different. You have to have a different type of confidence. And so in order to do that, you go through all these trials and tribulations about who you're trying to become, and you'll be tested and you'll be tested and you'll be tested. And it's like ego death after ego death after ego death. More ego deaths, wring you out like a wet cloth. And then finally you hit this stride, and then you go, and then you hit another stride. Like, it's like, you know, some people think that once you manifest and you get in the swing of manifesting it, it's super easy. It's not super easy. It's easier to stay in rhythm, but it's not easy. But what I always tell myself, and I ask my clients this because they always know, is there a reality where your manifestations could be easy? And so you invite it in anyways. Your ego is the thing that tells you it's not easy, but if you at least say, like, is there a reality where making money is easy? And then you say, if you say yes, then let that be your new reality. And I told myself that, like, is there a reality where I could still get paid or have this many streams of income that would help me travel, help me do God's work, help me be creative, help me like elevate my life? 555, you know? And it always becomes true. And I say that to my clients all the time. If they're like really worried about money, it's like, is there a reality where you have everything you need? And, you know, fill in the blank. Like, do you believe that there is a reality? Because most of the time it's a belief, it's a worth thing. And so if there is no belief that there is a reality where that could happen, the manifestation can't come. And so I'm always asking that question to them, so then they can crack open their mind just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot, but is there a reality? Do you believe that there is a reality where it could potentially happen? And most of the time, they pause and they think about it and they expand and they say yes, and then we work towards that, right? It's like put your foot through the door. And then most of them just begin manifesting quite quickly, but it takes them a little bit to kind of, you know, ride the waves. So it's just a really fun way to look at manifestation. But, you know, yeah. Like, this place is so cute. Look at these pillows. I matched the pillows. But yeah, keep loving yourself. I love you all.
Look how incredible this is. Oh my god. My ADHD today is fully cracking off. Like, sometimes I think I'm doing something and I am not. I need to go print things. I have tights on. I'm out of here. I need to teach soon. I'm gonna teach. I'm gonna spread some love. What? We're looking studly. Yeah. I'm gonna walk, so I'm wearing lots of layers. It's actually not that cold. It's like 25 degrees. I'm gonna be fine. But I just like to be safe. So I ended up finishing my errands. I got such a steal. So they were marked incorrectly. Lucky duck. It was just, I saw this sign that said off the beaten path, and I was like, am I about to get lost? I didn't think, because the universe is always talking to you. And then it was like la vie and something else, and you know, all these fun phrases. And then I looked up and I was lost. I was lost. And so then I was walking and I was like, am I lost or am I on my path? So then I was just having all this fun, and I ended up in this really cool neighborhood looking at all these fun stores, and I was like, oh, wow, this is great. And then I turned off to the side, and then I ended up in a parking lot, because I was like, oh, so many people are walking around, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I pulled up to the side because I saw some cool art, and then I ended up in like a media parking lot, and then I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I kept walking, and then I see like all these cameras, all this stuff, and then I was like in the middle of a movie set. And this is not the first time this has happened to me. And I talked about it on TikTok like over a year ago, because I ended up being, like, I was walking around in Santa Monica and I ended up being on the Barbie set, and I didn't know I was on the Barbie set. And I was walking and I see two actors, like, I didn't know they were actors then, but there were two people and they were dressed a certain way, they were roller skating, and I was like, what's happening here? And I was walking around and someone was like, excuse me, ma'am, like, we're blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. And then later, I was like, whatever, Barbie. I didn't really have an interest in seeing it. And then someone ended up like getting me Barbie skates. And then I was like, what? And then I posted about it. And then the next time I was in LA and I was like walking around getting some empanadas. And then I was in another set and I was like, oh, this is so fun how I keep ending up in sets. But the person I was with was like super nervous, and I was like, oh, we can be an extra. So then I was like, stand up straight, fix your face, and just walk with confidence. And they like totally didn't understand what I was saying. I was like, you're not meant for a set. That's being so funny. I was like, anytime there's a camera, you find the camera and you just blend in. And so then I was like strolling in the background of them talking, having so much fun. This has like literally been the time of my life. I love that Spirit just plops me in the middle of sets. And then when I was in Houston, it wasn't a TV set, but I like walked right outside my hotel, and right in front, they were filming for the news. And so I walked straight into the camera and I was like, oh. It was the funniest thing. And then before I got to the movie set here, I was in another news camera thing, and I just was laughing this whole time. And I was like, Spirit, I love this life. I was like, no matter what, when there's a camera, I'm gonna be like. But I had so much fun. I got what I needed. About 4:15 in the morning. Got my bags packed. Woo! I'm super sleepy. I'm super sleepy. But this has been a great adventure. I had so much fun. I cannot wait for the next one, which I'm not going to reveal where I'm going next. It's going to be quite fun. It's going to be really fun. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sending you lots of love. Look how beautiful it is. Woo! It's so magnificent. I will see you later, my friends. Thanks for coming along.
I hope that this episode reminds you to always follow your dreams, and that no matter how big they are, no matter what prayers you need answered, God will always be there to support you, along with your ancestors and your guides. Be sure to like and subscribe to follow along, and don't forget to tune in for my next episode with a surprise trip to where God needed me to go next for another amazing adventure. Sending you lots of love and all the hugs. May your journeys always be filled with magic, and I'll see you soon.